crazy.
Yo, what it do, what it be? It's your boy ANT, repping the game gang. You know we don't play, all of that. First video of 2023. I know I've done some streams, but this ain't no stream, baby. This is full written. You already know. Mysteries, and conspiracies. I'm continuing season 2. We did a little mid-season break, but today we gonna be covering the Roswell incident and Area 51 tonight. That's what I mostly do on this channel. If you knew, I mostly cover, history, sports, pro wrestling, rap, all that, stuff that interests me. Try and do it as fairly unbiased, but most of the stuff be coming from my perspective, so it is kind of biased anyways. But let's get right into it. Like I said, if you're new to the channel, ring the subscribe bell, all of that, notification, whatever it is, just stay tuned because I got hot content dropping soon, you feel me? But let's get right into it. We gonna cover Roswell first because that kind of happened first, but we gotta add a little bit of context to it. We're not just gonna jump right into it. Let's go back a little bit. Like I said, add some context because context is important, especially in this situation. So it's February 24th, 1942, and this incident would be known as the Battle of Los Angeles. And there was a famous Hollywood movie made about it, maybe not too long ago, maybe within the last decade, I want to say. But they had to they doctored some of the old headlines and the headline pictures to make it appear as if there was some extraterrestrial activity that day, like we were under attack by extraterrestrial forces and stuff like that. But that actually was not the case. You see, like I said, we got to add some context what really happened in this situation, and we're going to kind of be doing this. We're going to be kind of debunking, at least from my perspective, debunking some of these conspiracies and maybe adding fuel to some other ones. But just from my perspective, some of these things don't make sense, and we'll get more into that in a minute though. So the Battle of LA is kind of been explained already. There wasn't anything that we were trying to shoot down that day. Y'all gotta remember, this is February 24th of 42. We just got attacked in December by the Japanese in what was called Pearl Harbor. So America is understandably jumpy, and we've seen something like this happen before. When I covered the Gulf of Tonkin incident, that was pretty much, jumpy seamen pause in the middle of the Gulf of Tonkin, and they didn't see anything. They were just really nervous. They thought they saw something. They started shooting at literally nothing in the water. That got us into the Vietnam War. Now this kind of different incident, this would be the first recorded incident of this happening, I guess. It wouldn't be the last, obviously, but apparently right after World War II in California's a coast. Maybe we thought the Japanese would be coming through there as well. So one artillery man or whatever for the Air Force led to another jumpy artillery man. Once one person starts firing off artillery, everybody's gonna start going crazy, just because of how just the time it was. America was really on its toes. We were about to head into, or had already declared that we were going into World War II. So that's kind of the first time where America's hysteria kind of got the best of us. But it wouldn't be, like I said, it wouldn't be the first time for sure. It happened before, but not with UFOs or anything like that. It happened a lot. Bigfoot, the American tall tales, stuff like that. But yeah, hysteria definitely plays tricks on the human minds and stuff like that, and also being nervous. Like I said, we was on our toes, so that whole situation kind of has been debunked. Like, there was no UFOs being shot down. It was really just nervous soldiers that were worried that we might get attacked at any other time. So that's kind of what happened with there. But fast forward a little bit, 5 years, on June 24th, 1947, a little bit after we had the World War II had ended, a man by the name of Kenneth Arnold claimed that he saw 9 UFOs flying approximately 1,200 miles in the sky, V formation. hella fast. This was the first UFO sighting post-World War II, though, and his description of the objects led to the term flying saucer being coined, and it also led to the Maury Island hoax. And if y'all haven't heard about the Maury Island hoax, it happened maybe a couple months after Kenneth Arnold's claim, where a man, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he claimed that he had a UFO. He had spotted a UFO off the coast of Maury Island, and it was spewing out, kind of like newspaper-like debris from its center, and it even like dropped a meteor from its core, and it broke his arm, and it killed his dog. It killed his dog? Yes, it killed his dog. So upon hearing that, these UFOs is throwing shit down from the sky, the U.S. Air Force begins to investigate. They send a B-52 bomber to Maury Island, and it investigates, and to my knowledge, it didn't find anything. And on its way back from the investigation, though, it catches fire and it crashes, right? So really suspicious timing, I'm not gonna lie. Like, you couldn't, this is something that UFO conspiracy theorists would point to, like, oh my gosh, it burned up on the way back, they had to have found something, the government wanted to keep them quiet. Okay, here's my problem with that, though. If, the government wanted to keep the airmen quiet, why didn't they want to keep Kenneth Arnold and them quiet and kill them too? Because Kenneth Arnold lived after that. And after that, the B-52 went down, Kenneth Arnold claimed that it was all a hoax. Like, he made it all up. Literally. So maybe if you're a conspiracy theorist and you gotta reach for the moon and the stars and, all of that, then sure, you could maybe put together, hey, this plane crashed, and then, after they killed the airman, they told Kenneth Arnold, hey, be quiet, and, never mention this again, it never happened, or it was all a hoax. You have to go forward and say it was all a hoax. But I doubt that the military would sacrifice 2 airmen to prove a point. They could have probably just killed Kenneth Arnold, from jump. And like, well, you didn't see nothing, nobody saw nothing, nobody knows nothing now. Haha. But that didn't happen. So I'm just going to go ahead and say that the Maury Island hoax is exactly what it is. So it was just, the government gave him a pass. They told him that, it was a practical joke gone horribly wrong. It killed 2 airmen, and somehow, I don't think the government would have let him off the hook nowadays, but back in those days, they were a little more forgiving, I guess. So with that, after the events of Maury Island, on July 5th, 1947, Mac Brazel, I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but he discovered debris on his ranch in Corona, New Mexico. And so he kind of hid them. He saw them earlier in the day or that morning and kind of hid them under a bush. And later on that night, when he was watching his local news, there were reports that flying discs were spotted in that area, and this prompted Mac to call his local sheriff's department to report that he might have some debris from the flying discs. Now, the events after Brazel called the sheriff have given life to countless conspiracy theories, and it's captured the imaginations and the skepticism of scientists and conspiracy theorists alike. This event would be known as the Roswell incident, y'all. So once the sheriff took a look at the wreckage, he said, yeah, there's definitely, I've never seen anything like this, so let's call an expert or somebody like that. So then sheriff somehow gets a hold of the U.S. government, or the local military force shows up, and they actually start, they actually say, okay, we've never seen anything like this either, I guess. Because they start taking pictures. More military officers showed up. There's a picture that was taken and that was put in the newspaper the next day of a U.S. officer in Brazel's. It looks like Brazel's living room, and he got the wreckage right there on the floor, and he's looking like a kid that just opened up an N64 on Christmas. Like, he just looks ecstatic. And for a minute there in the world, everybody really believed we had a UFO. We found something that was not from this planet, right? Unfortunately, 24 hours later, the entire story would change, because, you know, like I said, the government admitted that they had found UFO. They put it in that newspaper. They put out the picture and all of that. Probably would never happen today. Like I said, 24 hours later, they said, actually, that we were mistaken. What we actually found, it wasn't a UFO. It was just a weather balloon. Nothing more, nothing less. Don't look into it, though. So, and really, for a minute, it kind of worked. Nobody really talked about it. I mean, it was kind of a mystery. Some said, yeah, it wasn't right. That was the whisper. And then in around the 70s and 80s, some of the military personnel and first account eyewitnesses or first-hand eyewitnesses kind of came out and said, okay, yeah, whatever happened or what we saw and held in our hands that day was not from this world. It couldn't be, because I had never seen, or, you know, for the ones who had held it, they had never held or touched anything like that material, which is fair. What if it was exactly that, though? What if it was just material that they had never seen before and not alien technology? You see, so there's been wild rumors and stories that have come out since then. You know, like I said, the first responders coming out, and those would be the people that you would want to believe the most. But also, you know, New Mexico ranchers probably aren't probably the brightest bulbs, especially at the time. You know, the military had no idea what it was, and then they came out and said it was just a weather balloon, right? Which, you know, odd. But then somehow it came out that the military found alien bodies, and they took the bodies and the spaceship wreckage back to Area 51, and that we conducted alien autopsies, and we reverse engineered some of the technology from the UFO, and that's how we got technology today. All right, there's a couple things wrong with all of that. So not a lick of that. Like, if it was just one thing, sure, you might, but you gotta put all of that together. Okay, so that's a lot to take in. So it doesn't make sense to me, and I'm gonna debunk it from my perception. This is how I see it, right? So, and just from what I've read and the research that I've looked up, okay, on Google, I'll drop some of the links in the description maybe, but from what I've gathered, there were no alien bodies. Brazil never mentioned alien bodies. Eyewitnesses never mentioned any bodies. There were no bodies. I don't know where that part of the story came in. That's cap to the fullest. Like, if there were alien bodies, the military would have been called probably immediately, because, I mean, yeah, sure, a UFO going 1,200 miles an hour. Just let's say if it was going 1,200 miles an hour, because that's what Kenneth Arnold's claim was. It was going fast as hell, right? So if it's going fast, flying through the sky, probably can't slow down in time. Probably not going to be much left of the UFO or aliens, but there's going to be something left. More than just, you know, some tinfoil or something like that, especially if, you know, that they're highly advanced like that. Brazil would have known off rip, oh my gosh, there's alien ooze or blood. I don't know if aliens bleed or not. You know, there might have been ooze or slime, something that could have been little green or gray men. I don't care about their skin color, black, green, purple, you know, brown. All, you know, I love all aliens. No, I'm just playing, but Men in Black, chill out. Speaking of Men in Black, I don't know where they were. Everybody wants to say how the government pulled up and took everything. The government had to get called. Like, Brazil called the sheriff first, and the sheriff called the government. So, like I said, the second phone call would have never been made had they found or seen alien bodies for show. And then saying that the government came, you know, swooped them up and took them back to Area 51 for autopsies. It's 47 1947. Area 51 wasn't built until 1955. And there's like evidence and proof of that. The government even said it wasn't built till 55. So unless they pull in some X-Files type shit or creating a hole in the space-time continuum type shit, I don't see how they're bringing back Area 51 to 47 from 55. You feel me? It ain't mathing right. We've lost the plot at that moment right there. So that kind of debunks that, to me at least. It doesn't make sense. Why? How could they take them somewhere that didn't exist? And then as far as the eyewitnesses, like I said, the eyewitnesses never mentioned anything about the government putting alien ooze or, you know, body parts in a jar or nothing like that. They never say anything like that. And that would be something that I don't think could be hidden or kept secret, especially if it happened. Those people would, you know, they were trying to say, oh, what I held in my hand wasn't from this, which, like, again, maybe it was just a material that they never held out before, you know, or that they never held before. Because my belief is that there was no spaceship, and it damn sure wasn't a weather balloon. The government actually came out and said that if it was actually a radiation testing device for Project Mogul, which I'll get to more in a minute. And then as far as the technology, and we got all of our technology from aliens, it's like, bro, like, can we humans do anything? We didn't build the pyramids. Our technology today is from aliens. Like, bro, no. First of all this notion that the government be hiding technology and stuff, okay, maybe that might be true. Maybe they do kind of test technology before releasing it to the public. Good. Some people are saying they're hiding flying devices and that we've mastered gravity since the 50s. Good. People can barely drive four-wheel cars, and y'all want flying vehicles now? Drunk drivers are worrisome enough, and I gotta worry about a motherfucker with a flying board or a flying jetpack or something. No, I'm cool on all that. Keep that shit in the vault, especially if that jetpack is flammable in any way, shape, or form. No, bro, we're not ready for that. You know, we may never be ready for that. And as much as I would like to believe that we found something that day at Roswell, like a UFO or alien bodies or anything like that, it just doesn't seem like that's what the case is when you add everything up. It kind of seems more like a hoax, and with all of the stories and the folklore surrounding it, it almost kind of seems like American mythos at this point. It's folklore. Aliens are like Santa Claus. You gotta really believe that they exist, and you know, they just don't seem real. You know, in this scenario, there are other UFO cases, you know, because you got the Men in Black and other stuff like that I might cover in future videos. But in this case right here, it sounds like a hit record, you know, but it's all metaphors. It's not real rap, you feel me? What was real was the UFO hysteria that swept the United States. I mean, and it reached as far as the highest levels of the government. I mean, after Kenneth Arnold and Mac Brazel's stories went the 1950s equivalent of viral, even the U.S. government put aside a group of scientists and astronomers to investigate a vast majority of these sightings. And they started as early as 1948, just a year after Roswell. They started with Project Sign, and that ran from 48 to 49. And then Project Grudge ran from 50 to 51. And then Project Blue Book picked up right from where both of those left off and ran from March 1952 to to sometime in 69. I don't know exactly when. And it's over 21 years of, you know, investigating UFOs. And that's just, you know, I don't think they ever stopped with Blue Book. They could say that they stopped, but that doesn't mean, you know, that they won't declassify more in the future, or more documents in the future saying, hey, we might have seen some other shit in the sky that we can't really explain. But over that whole Project Blue Book when that ended, they had 3 conclusions. And before I get into those 3 conclusions, in that time span, just keep in mind that the government started running 2 other projects during that time span. One being MK Ultra, which I've discussed in a past video and covered already, but the other one being that Area 51 was built in 1955, and they build the top secret airplanes, which I'll get to more in a minute. But with those 2 things, I have no doubt in my mind that people were seeing crazy shit in the sky off military grade acid for sure. But then you got Area 51 and all their top secret projects. So I'm sure they had some difficulties kind of categorizing, hey, this is a government project that we can't tell anybody about. We'll just say it's a weather balloon. This is somebody who is crazy and or just seeking clout. So yeah, this is fake. And then you got that third category where it's like, okay, this is either a really good fake or this shit we need to investigate more. This is just what I'm assuming. But they came up with 3 conclusions during their own time span. And so let's get into what they found. So one of the conclusions was that no aircraft or, unidentified flying object that was investigated by the Air Force was found to be a threat to our national security. Which makes sense, Air Force. As long as nothing got, crazy ray beams shooting out of it, or you're abducting whole cities like fucking Brainiac. I mean, that's cool, okay. And then the second conclusion was that no UFO or evidence that was submitted that they investigated couldn't be explained by natural phenomena, right? So they could pretty much explain everything. Okay, this is a shooting star, whatever. Sounds good, right? Well, then you get to their third conclusion, and this is the one you got to listen closely for. No evidence that any sightings that were categorized as unidentified were extraterrestrial vehicles. Basically, that says all the UFOs they investigated were explained or a hoax, except the ones categorized as unidentified. But those weren't aliens? If the US government couldn't identify them, how the fuck do they know what they were then? Well, actually, they could identify some, but they couldn't tell the public what they were. Y'all remember I mentioned Project Mogul earlier, right? Well, Project Mogul was using special equipment to test for radiation because the government wanted to spy on Soviet Russia and their nuclear plans. Because, right after World War II, we were just kind of dipping our toes, getting our feet wet with the Cold War. Like, right after. Because once we found out Russia had plans for world domination and nuclear weapons and all that, we said, oh shit, here we go again. But the UFO stories for a minute were a natural way to cover up some of these top secret projects until, number one, it caused mass hysteria, and number two, well, they actually were split on whether or not we actually found or anything was actually out there. Like, the US government to this day is actually split on whether or not we think we've come into contact with alien life forms in our recent history. One person that was a skeptic turned believer was a man by the name of Joseph Allen Hynek, and he was actually sent by the government to kind of give a report on Project Blue Book's findings and what they were investigating and stuff like that. And he wrote an in-depth report on, yes, UFO phenomena that he found interesting, but what piqued my interest was his reporting on the camaraderie or, the scientists and how they interacted and how they investigated these sightings. And he basically said that they've spent more time bickering about the plausibility of there being, actual evidence than actually doing any research or investigations. Basically, what I can summarize from his report, though, is if the government says that something is a weather balloon, it's one of two things. It's either a top secret government project or the government doesn't even know what the fuck it is. And me, even though it might seem like I'm trying to say that UFOs and aliens don't exist, in this case there's not really strong evidence. However, there's a vast universe out there, and to think that humans are the only intelligent life in the ever expanding universe is just, that would be ignorant. Now, whether or not we've been visited or come into contact with stuff that's not from here, maybe, but and I believe that maybe we have in our history, in our recorded history, sure, that we've seen shit in the sky, but we've never had concrete, you know, something from out of this world or another dimension come out and say, hey, this is where I'm really from, this is how you get here. Because anybody can say, hey, I'm from another planet, and, you know, okay, I'm from Mars. But unless you have the spaceship, you know, the technology, you know, how did you get here means, it's all, like I said, it's all metaphor. It ain't real rap. But like I said, one of the things that got in the way of the investigation was Area 51. And Area 51 has been linked to just about every American conspiracy you can think of. Lizard people, alien autopsies, the Men in Black, alien technology, the Majestic 12, underground bunkers, everything under the sun. But really though, officially, the U-2 spy plane was developed and tested at Area 51 and Nellis Air Force Base. Shout out Fallout. But early drone tech may have also been tested, which may have also explained some of the UFOs throughout the years. But like I said, over the years as well, people have gotten really good at Photoshop too. They can do crazy stuff. But to me, this is my thing about Area 51, is why the secrecy? Why the secrecy? It doesn't make sense. Okay, they dropped FOIA documents in 2013, and that was the first time they officially recognized Area 51. They built it in 55. That's almost 60 years of denying something that the general public, like, you could go back to polls, the general public pretty much thought that Area 51 was real. And the government was, for years, denied it. Even after, in 1994, they actually did an expose on 60 Minutes about Area 51. Because they were getting sued, them and the government, Area 51 and the EPA, they all were getting sued pretty much by these civilian contractors that were doing work on Groom Lake. That was near Area 51. They claimed that chemicals were being burned and a couple of the contractors died. And that prompted one of the big dogs, congressman that at the time and former chairman of the House Intelligence Committee, to go on 60 Minutes and kind of reveal some of the inner workings and secrecy of Area 51. And even after that, the government still denied its existence. And then, like I said, in 2013, the CIA dropped FOIA documents, Freedom of Information Act, and it pretty much gave like a little map of Area 51's location and a history of some of the top secret aircrafts developed at Area 51. But is that really it though? Still, again, it seems like a lot. Maybe they overcompensating for something, but it just seems like, you know, y'all got snipers, helicopters, that whole invade, they can't stop us all, let's rush Area 51. The government took that seriously and was ready to murder American civilians in masses if they tried to get to the secrets. That doesn't sound like just a regular base. And again, that was after they said it was real and everything, but still, I mean, I'm sure if anybody tried to break into an American base en masse, they would try and defend it. But isn't that crazy? We are not allowed to see what's inside the stuff that we're paying for. wild, right? But anyways, until the government reveals the truth, or a whistleblower, or, you know, he would be a martyr because they would get him out the way real quick. Until they come out with some, like, solid evidence, or, you know, they have, like, they can come out with a tesseract or something. I don't know, you know, what would be, because a video, I think, if you come out with a video, oh, this is from Area 51, it's obviously could be fake. But I just, you know, until someone does that, it's all going to be rumor, innuendo, in speculation. You know, Men in Black, don't kill me, please. I'm just asking questions, man. If I'm asking too much, just tell me. You ain't gotta break my legs or nothing. You ain't gotta make me disappear. But for real though, like I said, it's all, until somebody does that, it's just a mystery of history and a conspiracy, obviously, except for Roswell, because that's obviously a fucking hoax. But hope y'all have a good one. It's been your boy ANT again. I'm sorry, this is gonna be one of the longer videos. The rest of the series probably won't be this long, but this was 2 in 1. Y'all got 2 in 1. I hope y'all enjoyed. Again, if you did, leave a like, comment on maybe some of the other conspiracies I could cover in the future. But y'all be safe, don't get smoked, subscribe, ring the damn bell, stay tuned. I got more hot content dropping soon. But it's been your boy ANT, repping the game gang. We don't play none of that, all that, and I'm out. Peace.